welcome to the Addicts, a fantasy football podcast. We're addicted to all things fantasy football. I am your host, Mason Mann. I'm joined by Dalton Hanley and Haven Cox. I notice it might be a little different tonight. We've got Dalton joining us. He's our fourth member. How we doing, Dalton?
Hey, everybody. Dalton here. I am the fourth official member of the original Addicts that started the Twitter page, or X page, that y'all know and love. Now part of the new Twitter page, TikTok, and new podcast. So I'm excited to get rolling and see what we got for y'all this week. It's going to be fun.
We're excited to have you, man.
Yeah, I mean, right now you and I are going at it in our fantasy football matchup, so I have a little anger towards you, but it's great to have you here. One of us is going to be the highest scoring team of the week. The other one's going to be the second highest scoring team of the week. So it's going to be painful for whoever loses. But yeah, man, glad to have you here. Glad to be on the podcast with you. Tell us, go through a little bit of fantasy about yourself.
Yeah, man. We've all been in the same fantasy league since pretty much the beginning. I mean, we're all
13 years.
We're all late 20s now.
Yeah.
I think in about a year or two, half of our lives are going to be spent playing fantasy football. So that's pretty crazy when you think about it that way.
It's crazy.
That's actually insane.
We're incredibly competitive in just about every single league we're in. I mean, some of the dynasty leagues we tend to rebuild and come back stronger, but just about every league we're all pretty competitive, and we tend to give it out as much as we tend to give it out as much as we take it, and
take it.
Yeah, take it.
like how Haven said,
Yeah.
I'm giving
That's
it to
what he
him right now because I'm up 180 and he's trying to come back, but we'll see.
I'm at 160. We're 20
It's
points
pretty
away.
tough
I'm
when
on
you have
Raw.
DMC and Jonathan Taylor.
And I put Bo Nix is on my bench. We always say we're not experts. And the reason why I say that is Jared Goff is supposed to be having the night of his life. And Bo Nix is supposed to get 10 points. Well, Bo Nix got 39, and he's sitting beautifully on my bench, and Jared Goff has 10. So unless there's a fourth quarter miracle, like what happened with Bo Nix, I'm in trouble.
I always like to say fantasy football is 90% luck, 10% skill. So we're going to try to provide y'all that 10% of skill, that knowledge you can have ahead of time that might give you the upper hand. But at the end of the day, it's just straight luck. So we're just here to have fun. But yeah, most of it's luck.
Here's one tip I'll tell you. Play better defense. The better defense you play, the least amount of points your opponent scores, and that's okay. I mean, Mason scored 110 last week and beat me, and
I have a solid defense in fantasy.
You got to get into their head, man. You got to play those mental games.
Got to.
Well, cool. We're going to start off the show today with a little bit of trivia. This is something we're going to start doing every week. We're going to throw in some games to have a little fun. Dalton, joining the pod today, is going to start us off with some trivia.
So I got two guys, both some trivia questions that start easy and get harder as we go. I'm going to let you guys play a little game where you try to lock in your answer as I give you the clue and see who can get it first. And everybody watching, play along with us, and we'll see how well you do. First player,
Let's do it.
currently 21 at their position. They have started every game this season, and they currently have 25 receptions so far. So that's an average of about 3.5 per game. Start that off. They are 21st at their position. They've started every game. They have 25 receptions so far.
So no injuries, 25 receptions, and this could be throwing us off, Haven. He could be going with a running back that has a lot of receptions.
Yeah,
just to throw us
20,
off.
But 21st is position.
He's great.
Does that include this week?
That includes this week. That is through week 7.
Okay, through week 7.
Okay. I'm not going to lock in yet. So how we're going to do it is whoever locks in our answer first and gets it correct is going to be the winner of the round. But I'm not ready to lock it in.
I'm not ready either. I need more. I need more, Dalton. Give me
You're
more.
going to need more. So I figured you're probably not going to get it first try, so you're probably going to have to just throw it out there and see if you land it. I doubt it.
Can we give a guess each? Just give a guess and see if one right, or we
freebie?
need to lock. We just need a Let's give a freebie. First round freebie.
Sure, you can get a freebie.
All right, Haven. You sounds like you have a guy. Let's hear it.
Is this 21st at the position, 25 receptions? Is this Travis Etienne?
I do. I'm tracking with you, Haven. I think it's a running back, and he's trying to throw us off with the receptions.
For
He's
3.5
started
per
every game. The first name that came to my head has started every game, and I'm not entirely sure he's had this many receptions, but I'm going to say it. Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like running back 5. Got some
Actually,
21st.
Those were
at the
actually
position.
really good guesses.
I forgot about the 21st, but Josh Jacobs has had his bye week. So
this is fair. But he's had some really good weeks. He had 2 weeks of 30 plus
This
points.
player has not had his bye week. He's played all 7 games.
Oh, that's a free hit. No bye weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say those were actually really good first guesses. I don't think y'all need a freebie.
All right. We want no more freebies.
I will
no
give
more
you the little
freebies.
freebie of this player has not yet had their bye. So they've played all 7 games.
Okay.
So next hint, they only have 1 touchdown on the entire year. It's a rushing touchdown.
No.
So y'all were on the right track with where y'all were guessing.
Okay, so only 1 overall touchdown.
One overall touchdown, and it's on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm a little lost.
Yeah.
Good.
We might need to move to hint 3.
You're more lost than before.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not ready to lock it in.
Let's keep going.
Good. Stumping you. Okay. This former NFL third-round drafted running back has only scored over 14 fantasy points this season in PPR.
Say that one more time.
So this player was drafted in the 3rd round of the NFL draft.
Okay.
In their past, I'm not saying they were recently drafted. I'm saying they had been a previous 3rd round drafted running back.
Okay.
They've only had more than 14 fantasy points once this season in PPR.
This season. Okay.
So they're currently 21 at the position. They have 25 receptions on the year. They've only scored 1 touchdown on the ground. That's all for the year. Just 1 touchdown, and it's on the ground. And they've only scored over 14 fantasy points once.
Well, that makes sense. If he only has 1 touchdown, he's probably not popping off for a lot of points.
But they were a previously 3rd round drafted running back.
I have an idea of who this is.
You'll lock it in?
No, because the
How
reception.
many more hints do we have? We have 2 more?
I have an idea, but I need one more hint. One more hint.
Yep. Keep going.
Okay. This running back has been a running back 1 in 6 of 9 seasons in PPR. But they have never had 1,000 yards rushing.
Oh, my hint. The guy I had was nope.
Okay, so he's old. He's 6 of 9 seasons.
Age is just a number, man. I don't know what you mean by old.
So he's been in the league for 9 seasons.
I mean, he's about our age, unfortunately. You're calling him old.
That's old for, if we're tracking running backs, I mean, that's old for a running back.
You're on the right track.
Man.
So, out of his 6 of 9 seasons, he's been a running back 1 in PPR, but has never had 1,000 yards rushing in a single season.
I'm locking it in. I know who it is.
Hold on. I'm thinking.
Well, I can lock it in first.
You lock it in, but
absolutely
don't
can
say
lock
it.
it in
But
first.
don't let.
All right. Locking it in, it's Alvin Kamara.
Haven, do you have a guess?
He said never. He's had 1,000 yards.
I think he has had them combined with rushing and receiving.
Kyron Williams hasn't played that long.
No.
No.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Alvin Kamara.
Is it Alvin Kamara?
It is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
He has played 9 seasons, drafted 3rd round out of Tennessee. He has been a running back 1 6 of 9 seasons, never had 1,000 yards. He has had multiple years in the 900s, but never 1,000. And obviously, we know him as a great receiving back, multiple receptions a year, which makes him incredibly dominant in PPR. That's how he's been, especially a running back 1 in PPR, all the receptions that he gets. So,
He's
yes.
been so quiet this year. No one is talking about him, especially the past 2 weeks.
He's been quiet because he's only scored over 14 fantasy points once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
pretty
even
bland.
his bad weeks, like he had 9 points 1 week and he was like running back like 17. Because that week was just running backs have been you either get 30 or you're getting like 10 or less. It's been a weird year with
The
running
past
backs.
2 weeks for Kamara, because I have him in my church league, it's been pretty brutal. But yeah, I mean, the combination of age and like what we talked about last week with targeting running backs on good offenses, that's even more to that point. He's not on a good offense, so I don't know. He's a hard guy to gauge their value because you kind of just have to hold on to him. You're not going to be able to trade him away for anything.
I'm going to talk about a
hope the
guy
offense
later.
gets better.
I actually drafted Alvin Kamara beginning of the season, and I traded him before the season was started for George Kittle because a guy sniped me. And I can't tell who won the trade yet because I wouldn't be starting Kamara because I would rather start ETN. I would rather start Kyron Williams over him. But I'm going to talk about George later, but I have some thoughts on him.
Cool. How's it going, Dalton? You want to do
That was
this? You want to do the second guy?
Nice. Yes, so I did try to stump you a little bit with the first one with the way I worded it. Y'all caught on pretty quickly that it was a running back and not a receiver based on the way I
I knew there's
worded
going to be
it.
some kind of tricks in there.
That was the trick. This one hopefully is a little more straightforward. Still going to be tricky though. Hopefully everybody online got it faster than y'all did because y'all took till the 4th hint. So y'all might need to step up your game a little.
There's a lot of running backs.
There's a lot of running backs. There's only 32 teams though.
But there's been about 55 this year that have been relevant. Look at the waivers.
That's true. That's true. You got guys like Bam Knight out there. in lineup.
Bam night.
Bam and Bill. We got some good names.
Man, Bill just... We talked him up too much last week.
He's just not doing enough.
Since last podcast, I traded away Bill Krosky and George Kittle in our Dynasty League for a first-round draft pick. And it's probably going to be like the 108. I think I just robbed Hayden on that one.
I'm still buying in. I think, the injury concerns at quarterback there, it concerns me a little bit. But, yeah, I'm still buying in. That offense has to turn around at some point. And I think he's a good running back.
He's a good running back, but it's just their team has been weird.
He's talented.
They had no Debo. They had no Terry. Luke had 0 points. And
are you referring to Luke McCaffrey in the first name? You're on first name basis with Luke McCaffrey?
Yeah. Hey, little Lukey. So, all right, give us number 2. All right,
so player number 2 is currently wide receiver 12 on the year. This is through week 7 in PPR. They're currently wide receiver 12. They have finished as a top 20 receiver twice in their career, but every other year they have finished at wide receiver 35 or lower.
Repeat that second part.
Do we get a freebie still first round?
No, y'all know what you're doing.
No freebie.
We're professionals here.
I have a lock in.
So this is currently wide receiver 12 in PPR through week 7. They have finished as a top 20 wide receiver twice, and every other year they have been wide receiver 35 or lower.
I want to lock in my guess.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Scared.
You're down 0-1 to Mason.
Is it Cortland Sutton?
It is Cortland Sutton.
Let's go! First. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
What gave it away?
He's only had 2 good years.
He's only had 2 good years. If you don't count this one. Currently he's on pace to have another good year. But yes,
he's having
had
2
good years.
Because
this Haven.
I just was that good, man. I mean, I have Cortland in a lot of leagues this year. Me and Dalton probably spent 4 days trying to do a trade for him in Superflex Dynasty. And I got him. He's been an every week starter for me. I mean, he's been great. And then you have to watch Bo Nix, and it sucks. But Cortland, great guy. And what he did this past week.
A lot of leagues too. A lot of leagues as well. And, he's just so interesting. He
came out his second year, had a good season, looked like it was on the up, and then he tore his ACL basically week 1 of year 3. Since then, he's been recovering from that injury, and then he's been having to deal with quarterbacks like Drew Lock. Now he finally has a quarterback and a good head coach, and you can see how good he's been. It's unfortunate that he has lived on my bench in Dynasty for so long for me to finally reap the rewards of his 30-year-old self, but I'll take it anyway.
Is there a guy that y'all just have in redraft or Dynasty that he's just going to sit on your bench, you're never going to put on your starting lineup?
He's just your guy?
You're just like, well, he's not like Jerry Jeudy. He has been terrible this year. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, he's going to do, if he does 25 on my bench, great. If he gets 3, okay. But he's never going to make the starting lineup. He's never going to make the waivers. It's just...
Keaton Mitchell is that guy for me. It's a little lesser known name, third string for the Ravens, but I fell in love with him his rookie year. He is lightning quick. And I think at some point Derrick Henry has to retire. At some point, maybe he could be the guy. I don't know. I can't drop him. I just can't. He's so fun, and if he could ever get the opportunity, I will be there. He'll be there for me.
Takes your kids to the school for you. He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah, he's like in other dynasty leagues, he's probably not rostered.
He's a good locker room guy. He's in there slapping.
He probably shouldn't be rostered, but I just can't find myself.
Great for the locker room morale, for sure.
Yeah. Up until right now, Cortland Sutton was that guy for me until I traded him to Haven in one league, but I still have him in another league.
Well, I feel like we kind of ruined that for Dalton. Do you want to give us the rest of your hints? Just you put in all that work.
No, man, that was good.
Okay.
I stumped y'all really good on the first one, so that worked out.
Well, cool. As we go forth in all our podcasts, we're going to be posting these early in the week, one early in the week, one later in the week. So we're going to be kind of recapping the games that have previously happened. One thing that we're going to be doing is going through a couple of guys that we were happy with over the week, and then one of the guys that disappointed us. So I'll kick it off to Haven with his first guy he was happy with in his performance this week.
Yeah, so my guy, he basically is Jake Ferguson, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. He has been the tight end 1 this season. I mean, he was a late rounder. Crazy. CeeDee Lamb, first week CeeDee did really great, and Jake had a bad week. Week 2, CD, I think he gets hurt either week 2 or week 3, but Jake started doing really good, starting getting that connection with Dak. CD gets hurt. He's been gone. George Pickens has done really great, and so has Jake Ferguson. Well, the question is, when CD came back, who is going to be Dak's number 2 guy? Because CD, of course, is number 1. My worry was, George finally figured it out with Dak. He's going to be the number 2, and he is just going to continue having that great relationship, and Jake is going to be the 3rd option and not do that great. Well, he was 7 for 7 this past week. Only 29 yards. I will say he was only 29 yards, but 2 touchdowns. And that's really what matters. He had 21 points. This is like his 5th week in a row with like 15 plus. I mean, my worry was that I was going to hold on to him too late, and if I wanted to trade him, I wasn't going to get any value. Now I don't want to trade him. I see what he does with CD, without CD. He is a certified guy for Dak Prescott, and he is a lock and load in my lineup, tight end 1 rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 2 touchdowns right there proved it. Like,
yep.
I was watching all that game because I had Bill and I had Javonte, so I was locked into that game. And, yeah, I mean, I was trying to get Javonte in the end zone, and every time the drive got ended by a Ferguson touchdown. I mean, Fergie is Dak's guy. He loves him.
That's
Fergalicious.
Fergalicious. Yeah, I think Ferguson was hurt a lot of last year, and also Dak was hurt. We didn't, 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure that connection was still pretty strong there, and so we kind of forgot about that until this year. So, I mean, I'd for sure be holding on to Ferguson. Unless you picked him off the waivers and you have 2 good options at tight end, you can ride Ferguson for the rest of the year.
Dalton, who are you happy with?
So I noticed that you picked a player that's going against me in one of our leagues. So I chose to pick a player that I'm using against you in one of our leagues, and that is Rashee Rice, that I'm very excited, mostly because in both of the redraft leagues I'm in, both ours and I have a work league that I'm in, I traded for Rashee Rice. I did not draft him. I traded for him after week 2 or 3. I waited a little bit just to see kind of if the team that drafted him was struggling. And it turns out that both teams were in the leagues I was in. So I took Deebo Samuel and traded Rashee Rice for him straight up after week 2 and was super happy with that. I luckily had plenty of other receivers on my team, so I didn't need Rashee Rice right away, and I could wait. And luckily the wait paid off because he was wide receiver 9 in his first week back, led the team in targets, had 10 targets, caught 7 of them for 42 and 2 touchdowns, and only played 41% of snaps. So that to me is pretty crazy, the fact that he can get in, play 41% of snaps, and get that many targets, that much usage right away. And they're not just any targets. These are Pat Mahomes targets. These are highly valuable targets. They're usually end-zone targets because the Chiefs love scoring. They love being in shootouts. And Pat Mahomes can sling it. I love having his favorite guy, Rashee Rice. He's stepping right back into the role he was in last year before the untimely injury from his quarterback when Mahomes decided to dive bomb him straight into the knee and wreck that season. Not salty about that at all. But I'm glad to see that he did come back, and it wasn't just a flat fall like we saw with George Kittle. We kind of were waiting for him to come back and hoped that he would plug right in and do what he always does. He did. He just blocked his tail off, and McCaffrey had a great game. So I'm glad that Rashee Rice didn't do the same and came back guns a-blazing.
Where would y'all rank him the rest of the year? Because, I mean, for me, it's high.
In redraft, for me, he's at least wide receiver top 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
rest of season.
Wide receivers this year haven't been as good as running backs. Like, you have your clear cut Jonathan Taylor, CMC, which Dalton both have, and both hurt me a lot this week. But receivers have Puka got hurt. Jamar, we're going to talk about him. He's been a little interesting this year. Justin Jefferson, J.J. McCarthy may come back. That's a little iffy.
I'd rather have Rice straight up over Justin Jefferson. So
for sure.
Do that trade.
But
I'd rather have Rice.
I would put him wide receiver 5. Is it not crazy to think that most people who drafted Rashee Rice, it was 75% are 2 and 4 or worse, and Dalton just was able to get him.
Dalton had the great idea. See if that team is struggling and needs to get rid of a guy on their IR for a guy they can plug and play then. I mean, that was such a great strategy.
In our league, I did have to give away George Pickens and I think J.K. Dobbins, who was performing well for the first 3 weeks, but I knew he was very touchdown dependent because he puts up a moderate amount of yards, but most of his points
he doesn't get no receptions
because of touchdowns. And then I knew Pickens was going to do well with CD going down, but I got back Rashee Rice and Drake London. So to me, it felt like a worthy trade. And now I am loaded at running back with 2 of the top guys, and I have a bunch of great receivers that are all producing. So I'm pretty happy so far. Undefeated at the moment. Undefeated at the moment, unless Hayes
this game isn't over. This
is ridiculous.
This game isn't over yet. I have a chance. It's only 8 minutes left in the fourth.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I'm down only 25. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
So Mason, you're up next.
Yep. For me, it's a name that isn't talked about enough, and it's
a gross name.
Yeah, it's Devontae Smith. He's a guy that was drafted in probably your 6th, 7th round as a flex guy. He's been up and down all year, especially in the beginning of the year. He was down. In the past couple weeks, he's been up. And I think a couple of stats that could prove that he might be more of a flex option going forward. If you look at the pass rate over expectation stats, and that's a nerdy stat. To explain that is when a team is in a neutral game script. So when the game starts out and it's 0-0, even up into a point where a team can be down 10 points in the first quarter, when it seems like the team could run or pass and it makes sense. If they're down 14 in the fourth quarter, that is not a neutral game script. That is a game script where you should be passing. But we're talking about neutral, where it's okay to run or pass. The Eagles in the beginning of the season were running a lot in those. They were towards the bottom quarter of the league in pass rate over expectation. And in the past couple of weeks, they were in the top quarter of pass rate over expectations, which essentially means they were passing the ball over expectation. When they were in a neutral game script, they weren't running the ball. They were passing the ball, which I think bodes well for both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Thinking about the Eagles going forward, that could bode well for Devontae Smith. We've seen that with Dallas Goedert, their tight end, and also for A.J. Brown. So I think it's looking better for the Eagles. I'm still a little worried about Saquon. He should be better catching the ball. What are your guys' thoughts?
I had Devontae in a lot of leagues. I drafted him as a rookie in our Dynasty League, 105, and he has been just such a miss or hit or miss. And it's like, do you just plug him in your lineup and just like, screw it. If he gets me 3 points, he gets me 3 points. If he gets me 20, he gets me 20. You made a good point about the defense and how they're having to now pass the ball a lot more. I don't know their schedule, but, I mean, when you're pushing for 4 times in a row and now you actually have to throw the ball. I mean, when A.J. Brown caught that pass in the first quarter, I was like, oh, my gosh, Jalen Hurts remember how to throw the ball more than 5 yards. I'm glad Devontae Smith had a good week.
Yeah. Smith isn't hurt by the tush push. That's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
It's like if they're at the 2, the 1 yard line, that's not Devontae Smith's role. His role is getting down the field or those long touchdown passes. Yeah. So I just think
with the tush push.
I think eventually they will.
They have to. Did y'all see the Lion? I mean, not the Lions, the Vikings. How the dude on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it worked. They got
They're going to have to come up with creative solutions to defend it. Or so many teams are going to get so mad about the tush push. They did it. I mean, there was all the neutral fans that were like, I don't care. And then last week when they had 4 straight tush pushes to score, I think everybody was like, all right, we got to get rid of this. We just can't do this anymore.
Would you rather have Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith the rest of the season?
I think I'm going with the better offense. So that's Devontae Smith. I think those are very comparable. Wide receiver twos.
If you had asked me before this week, I probably would have said Waddle based on the Tyreek Hill injury and because he's the de facto number 1 guy and he just had a pretty good week. Now, knowing what we know in week 7, the Dolphins look so bad. They look so bad. So what happens if we get to the end of the season and they have 1 or 2 wins and Waddle gets hurt because he lives in the medical tent and they just shut him down for next season? I mean, Tua got benched. What if he gets benched again? What if Mike McDaniel gets fired? Which there's no way he doesn't get fired, right?
He's got to get fired.
If Brian Callahan can get fired, in only his second season after drafting his guy. Now, granted, they didn't look good, the Titans, but if he's already fired, how in the heck does Mike McDaniel still have a job?
I mean, did you see him after the press conference who just, yeah, we need to address our assets.
He's gone. He's done.
It's painful to watch.
He's mentally gone.
He's mentally gone. That's
done. He's checked out.
All right, well, we hit on some guys that were happy. What about some guys who were disappointed? What about Dalton? Will you kick us off on the guy you were disappointed with this week?
Yeah, so the guy I'm disappointed in is Caleb Williams. I thought was going to perform a whole lot better than, 4 point something? It was less than
Terrible.
5 points. It was horrible. Now, I don't think he necessarily had a terrible game. I think they just had a lot of rushing touchdowns. I think I heard somewhere that they ran the ball 40-something times. Swift and Monungai had so many carries. So it was just a ground game for them. I don't fault Caleb for that. I fault him for giving me less than 5 points. I'm not happy about that. And he had a great matchup. He was playing the Saints. Just last week, Drake May torched the Saints and put up 28 points. So I was expecting Caleb to do something for me. In most of my leagues, Caleb is not my quarterback one. He's kind of a streamer, or sometimes I run a 2-quarterback system if I have 2 guys that are hit and miss and I play matchups. Well, in one of my leagues, I had Josh Allen, and he's on bye. So I thought I could just plug in Caleb Williams and be fine, considering he just had a good week against the Commanders. They just had a bye the week before. Hopefully they figured some things out. They didn't, because against the Saints, he put up less than 5 points, and it hurt.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about. I feel like since the bye week, they've kind of unlocked Swift. They've started running him outside more, which I think is better for his skill set instead of just up the middle.
Absolutely.
Give him some bigger holes. So, yeah, the thought that maybe Caleb Williams going forward isn't a plug and play if they figured out this run offense a little bit more.
Which is sad to see, because his next, I think, 3 matchups after this are nothing but green. They're bottom 5, bottom 10 defenses against quarterbacks. So you would think he would be able to have a couple of great weeks in a row. Mason, I think you tried to trade me for him in our league, and I said no because,
I gave you a good offer too.
You gave me garbage.
So for our viewers, Mason sends the worst trades possible, but somehow he still gets them done with some of our league mates. It infuriates us.
It was like a bench running back in 20 fab, which I felt like for Caleb Williams, a backup running back, was a pretty good offer.
But let's talk about. early
Sam
in the
Darnold
season.
and Tajay Spears. I declined.
Okay, that's what it was.
It's just you got Amari in at the beginning of the season for a cupcake and a couple hugs, and it's just ridiculous. Every year, it happens every year. He beat me in a championship a couple years ago for getting CD Lamb because of this. Ridiculous.
Yeah. You just got to know your people. Know the people in your league. Trade to them. Figure out those.
Yes, to clarify on Caleb Williams and give some advice, I wouldn't just drop him because of this performance, because I don't think it was his fault. And the next 3 matchups are really good, so I'm not just moving off of him yet. He's had some good weeks this year, and we know he can put up points. He has some good pass catchers. It was just a ground game, and it wasn't really on him. So I wouldn't just move off of him yet, but if he busts next week against the Ravens, whose defense has also been horrible, hopefully Lamar is back, and we get a shootout and all the fantasy points. I think that's
the games you feel more comfortable with Caleb starting is the games where, like the Saints, they don't really have an offense.
Right.
The matchups where the other team has a good offense, where it has to be some back and forth, hopefully a high-scoring matchup where Caleb has to throw some more. So that's how I feel about it. Haven, who is your disappointment for you?
Well, that's sad to say, but it's George Kittle. The man had 0 catches, 0 points.
2 targets.
2 targets, yay. 0 points. And I'm so sorry to the TikTok viewer who DM'd us and asked who should he start, Zach Ertz or George Kittle. And I told him, George Kittle, I hope that did not lose you the league. Because no one saw this coming. You drafted him. I drafted him. He got drafted in the 4th round. And this man had a great week 1 before he got hurt. He had 13 points in the first quarter, and then he had his injury. You waited. Boom, time to put him back in your lineup. You needed him. 0 points. 0. He blocks great. Hell,
he's just too good a blocker. He's too important
he looks like a
to
great
that one part of the offense also, that sometimes he just can disappear, not because it's his fault. It's just because he's such a good blocker.
CMC is their offense the rest of the season. That's what it is. And if you have George Kittle, going into this week, into this podcast, my goal yesterday in the notes, I put how to trade away George Kittle if you have Jake Ferguson, because I have both. Now it's like I can't trade George. He has to sit on my bench. I'm sad, and it's tough right now.
Wait till he pops off, and then you can trade him.
He's gone that week. If any of our loyal listeners are part of our leagues, if you need a tight end, please trade for George Kittle after he has a good week, not now, because I don't want a Rondo Gaston, no. Which, if he's on your waivers, go get him, but don't trade him for Kittle.
I thought you were a Gadsden guy.
I am. He's my new Torrey Horton, which we'll get to in a second, but that was really sad.
I picked him up thinking about my bye week next week because I have Trey McBride who's on bye next week. I picked him up 5 minutes before the game started this past week. He went off. So I feel a lot more comfortable
playing him. Funny is all three of us now own him in a different league.
Yeah. He's fun.
Mason, who's your guy?
My guy, it makes me so sad. Let me just go off for a minute. Ashton Genty is my disappointment of the week. I have been subjected to Raiders football all season, and it sucks. I was so I have Ashton Genty in way too many leagues. I've watched the Raiders entirely too much, and it is so depressing to watch. I looked up the stat.
Did you lose a bet?
No, I didn't lose a bet. I looked up a stat. So how inept their offense was this week. They ran 30 total plays.
30?
30 total plays. That is second lowest all time in NFL history since the merger. The only one lower is like the 99 Saints, which they ran 28 plays. They had 95 total yards of offense.
Quarterback only threw for 67.
It is, I feel so bad for Ashton Genty because watching him. I think he's still a really good running back.
You can see the potential.
You can see he's still really good, and it's translating to the NFL.
He's legit.
But it's just not. You're not seeing that in fantasy numbers just because
the Lamborghini in the trailer park meme that we've all seen. It's that.
Exactly that. So I'm still going to watch the Raiders next week because I've got Ashton Genty in so many leagues.
You don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch it. You're going to start him anyway. You don't have to watch it.
Yeah, it's so depressing. So hopefully they change something up. They can fix their offensive line and their quarterback and their entire offense.
They can get a whole new team.
Yeah, maybe they can get a whole new team halfway through the season. So, I think in Dynasty, you can feel more comfort in the fact that hopefully next year they can fix it over the offseason. But I think for this year, it's just going to be riding whether he can score a touchdown or hit that long run. Otherwise, he might be sitting about 5 to 6 points a week. But
is he still an every week start for you, or
I think
you look at the matchup?
Personally, yes. The running back position is just so thin, especially with bye weeks coming up. We're about to hit that point of the season where we've got 4 bye weeks per week.
If you're
Next
just
week
loaded,
is brutal.
4 teams per week.
If you're just loaded and you have a bunch of guys with good matchups, maybe you have a bunch of receivers and 2 good guys that you'd rather chance it instead of Genty. But I imagine most teams don't have that luxury. You're probably, unfortunately, going to have to start him, and you're just going to have to live with the good and bad weeks.
Yeah, it's so depressing. But yeah, he's probably still a play. If next week we end up in a similar situation where they have 30 total plays and 90 yards of offense, we might be reevaluating this. But it can't be worse.
It's true.
It can't be worse. Yep. So I was super disappointed. Another guy we were all disappointed with, and I know especially Haven. We got to get your take on Torrey Horton, your guy.
All right, everybody. Last week we had a lot of talk about fun and finding your dude, and my dude was Torrey Horton. And let me kind of tell you about my sad week. I first lost a Survivor with the 8-point favorite with the Eagles losing to the Giants. That sucked. Then I lost every single matchup. One of them was with Roma Dunze. Should have had a touchdown, would have made me beat Mason. But for some reason, a left tackle is in an illegal formation, which I don't know how that's possible. How is a left tackle in an illegal formation? That doesn't make sense.
He was lined up wrong. I saw it.
He wasn't. I DM'd him, and
no, you did not.
I wish. Both. And then we talked about cutthroat, and while we were talking about this, we realized y'all call them chop leagues. We call them guillotine leagues. We like the word cutthroat. It sounds cool. So it's guillotine, it's chop. We're going to call it cutthroat.
We're going to go with cutthroat.
And I had the worst week in my life. Peyton talked about how he had the best team. Average points per week, I was number 1. I looked at it for 4 weeks in a row. I was in the top 2 scores. I had Quentin Johnson, get hurt before the game started. Puka had him, got hurt during the game. Emeka Ibuka got hurt during the game. I played Torrey Horton because Q got injured. I'm like, you know what? I talked about him last week. I love fun. Fun football. Fantasy football is fun. So let me play Torrey Horton, and guess what he does? 0 for 1 for 0 yards. And to make it worse, to make this worse, I still took the lead from 13th place to 12th place with 35 seconds left. Josh Allen had this beautiful 35-yard run. He had like 17 points. I was doing great. I was up a point. You know what he does the next play? He throws an interception. And I lose. And I'm out. And the guy I lost to, he is now losing and is about to be out. It's so frustrating. And Torrey, I loved you. You're still going to be on my dynasty team. Every other league, I kicked you out of. But you're still my dude. But I have another dude that is about to come in your place if you do this again. And his name is Aronde Gaston. Dude is legit. Great name to say. So fun. I can't believe I said it correctly.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you.
We're trying our best here to say it. But dang it. That dude looked legit. I have him in Dynasty too because I am cheeky. I don't know what to do in that league. I have 3 first-round picks. I am trying to win it. I keep losing. I don't want to tank. I play Bradley next week. I could have 4 wins. We could go further. But Torrey, you're on my bench or you're cut. And I'm sorry, everybody, if you started him last week. Don't start him again. Find your guy that's fun, but make sure you don't do something stupid like I did.
Make sure he can actually score fantasy points.
Yes.
Or a starter on their
before
offense.
starting.
0 for 1. 0 for 1.
Now,
How is that possible?
I will somewhat defend your Torrey Horton take because I think he is a good player. I think he is talented enough to be in the NFL. I think he's probably a very good wide receiver 2 for an NFL team. He's unfortunately behind 2 other guys that see the ball way more than he does. And one of them is the ghost of Cooper Kupp, who also doesn't even receive the ball that much.
He needs to retire.
It's all JSN. So until Cooper Kupp leaves, I'm just not going to be in on Torrey Horton. But I do think he is talented enough to where if you like him as a player, he is worth keeping in Dynasty. Redraft, or if you're depending on him in a chopped league, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I've learned now. I love the third option for the Seahawks, third or second option for the Seahawks. In my lifetime, I was a huge Doug Baldwin guy. He won me a championship. That was my dude. We used to text in the group chat every week. Doug Baldwin. Next was Tyler Lockett. Next,
legend.
Torrey Horton. If he can live up to the other 2, it's going to be great.
All right, guys, let's move on to some early busts that we want to talk about that had some good weeks this past week and whether we should be moving on, capitalizing on this. And 3 guys we want to talk about, that's A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, and Chase Brown. What are your guys' thoughts on those 3 guys, whether we should be moving on after some good weeks this past week?
Oh, do you want to talk about any of those? And I'll go off of who you leaving for me.
So I actually was pretty bold in one of my redraft leagues. I traded away Emeka Egbuka for Jamar Chase. And this was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it was looking really bad at first until Ibuka's injury, which was unfortunate. But Joe Flacco, old man Joe Flacco, might have saved Jamar Chase's season. This is the guy who was drafted the 101 in almost every league that I am aware of. So if you drafted him, you have probably not been having a great year. I hope you kept him. I hope you did not trade him away. If you had to, I get it because it was looking pretty rough for a time. But if I had Jamar Chase on my team, I am not looking to get rid of him. If you're telling me that he can get 16 targets in a week, that player is staying on my team. To me, he's a top 5 receiver rest of season. That's what we drafted him to be. That's what he currently looks like. And the quarterback that's there, that probably is going to be there most of the season, is going to keep throwing him the ball. And they look like they're scheming him up better. So to me, Jamar Chase, you keep rolling with him. Do not trade him away on this high. He's had 3 back-to-back weeks of almost 30 points. He's not leaving my team, and he's sure not leaving my lineup. Now, if I moved on to his teammate, Chase Brown, has also been kind of a bust. I think our league was pretty high on him. We took him in the 2nd or 1st round. Most leagues, you probably got him in the late 2nd or 3rd. He's also been a bit of a letdown and a bust. You could trade high on him because he had like 100 yards rushing, but I don't know what you can get for him. And like how Mason said earlier, the running back position is so barren. I really don't know who you can go get. So I personally would probably be trading for Chase Brown because you can get him for a bag of chips. I mean, you could trade almost nothing to whoever has the Chase Brown owner, who's probably been panicking about him. So I would send out a couple of cheap offers, some low balls, and see if you can get Chase Brown. He's a starting running back. His last, I think, 7 weeks of the season, the week 13 through 17, it's cake. It's a cake matchup. And he gets all the touches. He gets all the snaps. So I would roll with Chase Brown. I don't want to, but he's a free running back that people are probably panicking on. You can probably get him really cheap.
I completely agree. I think the people that drafted, I mean, in our league, I think we had a guy take him in the first round. So, like, we were so high on Chase Brown, and the disappointment that we had after the first 5-6 weeks, and we talk about this week being a boom week. He had 12 points in a PPR league. So, I just think that the disappointment that Chase Brown owners have felt after drafting him so high has been so impactful that you can probably still trade for him pretty cheap. And I think it'll stay how it is or get better. But with Joe Flacco coming into that offense. So I think it's a good opportunity to buy low on Chase Brown. And back to Jamar Chase, I think it's funny we're talking about as an early season bust for Jamar Chase, and I'm pretty sure he's like the wide receiver 2 right now.
Which is crazy.
It's
killing
crazy. Yeah, he's had a couple boom weeks. So, yeah, definitely don't be trading away Jamar Chase after these boom weeks. I think it'll continue to come with Joe Flacco down the offense.
Who would you rather have rest of the season, Quentin Johnson or Chase Brown?
That's tough. I'd probably go – it's really just dependent on your team need. Like, if you need running back –
You're level at both positions. This is your flex option.
Your flex option, I'd
QJ.
probably go Huge. He's got more upside.
I would go Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Chase Brown, I think he's that guy who, he has a cupcake season coming ahead. He can have a couple good weeks, but, I mean, I don't trust him. I trust Jamar. Jamar looks good. I mean, Chase Brown, I just don't trust that guy. I mean, we love them, but that O-line still looks so bad. And if somebody offered me him right now, I don't know if I would accept it.
It's the same thing with the Raiders. That offensive line with the Bengals is just so tragic that it's just going to be a long season for the running back there. All right, to end the show today, we've talked about it last week. We're going to do it again this week. We have a quick question of the day. And for this week, I'm going to do a blind resume, just kind of shake it up a little bit. So I've got 2 guys with some stats to kind of give an idea of what their season has looked like so far. And I want you guys to guess, and this is going to be kind of ballparking guess, who the players are, and then tell me which player you would rather have. All right, so player 1, these are both quarterbacks, passer rating of 107, yards 1,881, touchdowns 16, interceptions 3, and a completion percentage of 71.4%. So that's player 1. Player 2, passer rating of 102.9, yards 1,800 on the dot, touchdowns 14, interceptions 2, completion percentage 66.1. Any idea who these players could be?
The touchdowns, kind of tough because some of these quarterbacks just aren't as good anymore. I feel like you don't really ever have those 400+ yard games. I mean, you said 1,400. We're on week 7. I mean, that's 200 yards a game.
So player 1 had 1,881 yards.
1,881.
Player 2 had 1,800 on the dot. So pretty close. And to give you a hint, one of these players is very near and dear to our heart.
Is one Drake May?
No. Okay, so player 1 is Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Yep. When you said near and dear, yeah.
We are all Mississippi State fans, all went to Mississippi State for college. So Dak's our boy.
Is number 2 Aaron Rodgers?
Number 2 is Patrick Mahomes. So in this year where Patrick Mahomes is, the clear-cut, number 1 in the odds for MVP, Dak is beating him in essentially every metric.
You forgot one major one. That's rushing yards.
Yep. That's the one that I wanted to talk about. That's where he is beating Dak in a pretty significant way, rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, and that's why he's been so good for fantasy. But
that's insane.
I just had to bring this up. I spent a good amount of time in Texas this past earlier this year for work, and had to spend a lot of time with Cowboy fans, and just to hear the disrespect that I had to hear on Dak. So I wanted to bring this up, and I'm pretty sure. So last year Dak dealt with injury for the majority of the year, but the previous 2 years ago when Dak had a full season healthy, he was leading the league and yards and touchdowns. So the past 2 healthy years we've had of Dak, he's been killing it. So I think this is, if you're in a dynasty league, Dak, he's one of the older quarterbacks in the league right now, which is kind of crazy to think about. This is a guy
32 years old, I think.
Yeah, this is the guy we went to college with. So he's our age, a little bit older, but I think you can feel a little bit more comfortable in dynasty leagues if this is your guy, your number one guy in a super flex league, or your guy in a non-super flex league going forward, even if he's a little older in a dynasty league. Knowing this guy has a secure job, whether it's in Dallas or, the number one quarterback for another team, hopefully I want him to get away from Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
The Cowboys don't deserve
him. If their defense
him.
stays bad and they keep 2 number one wide receivers, Dak could be legit for a while.
Great for fantasy.
Yeah.
This is you want a quarterback with elite weapons and a terrible defense. That is the perfect scenario. So just wanted to bring that up. I had to shout out our boy Dak. Kind of give him a comparison to Patrick Mahomes, who we all consider him the number one quarterback in the league.
Respect is due. He's
respect is due.
He's goated.
But want to give Dak some respect as well. All right, guys, we had a good show today. Appreciate y'all hopping on, and we'll see y'all later this week.
Thank y'all. Follow us on Twitter and on TikTok at FFB Addicts. Like and subscribe.
Thanks, guys.